These are actually, I don't know if you can see our pictures here, but these are the children from Papua New Guinea that the US team has just purchased.
Oh, I thought that was the PNG team. Looked like a bit of a mismatch. There for a moment. I mean, they're really standing over them. They've got their own flag behind them and everything.
So they've got the height advantage.
I like to root for the underdog, I must say. Moving right along.
Great. Well, we've got the Papua New Guinean national anthem going on.
It's a battle
here.
of the anthems. So we've turned most of sport now into an amalgamation between rugby league and the X Factor. So we have these on-stage battles, and we have a sing-off beforehand. And I'm grateful, actually, because I'm hoping we can avoid the American cultural dance. It's not...
Is that disco? What is their national cultural dance?
How many guards do you need for a flag, would you say?
I'd say a minimum of 8.
A minimum of 8. So they're not really... Well, that's good, because OH&S get very unhappy if the flag's not guarded by a certain amount of...
In Papua New Guinea, I'm not sure if any of our listeners are aware, but if the flag does blow away, the eldest son in each family have to be massacred. Yeah, right. Well, you can see this is the Papua New Guinea looked very keyed up for this game. Look at here, we've got the team sheet. Adrian Lamb appears to be in the number 6, which is a bit of a turn-up. I didn't think he was playing by the end of this game.
I believe that's the silo. When they come together and put their hands like that and open it out, that's like a military projectionist thing. They form the silo and release the weapon.
So they're
fired up too.
They're visually representing their foreign policy.
Basically, yes.
There's number 10 coming in at a rangy 72 kilos.
Well, Fredericks here is an interesting fellow because he's spent his whole life trying to learn how to smile, and you can see an attempt there from him at the smile. He's never won a game.
I'd say he's more bemused, Chip.
Well, he's working up to a win.
He doesn't know why he's here.
Here's Gary Lowe. Now, here's a man who looks driven.
He looks very driven. I think he's, I
think he may have heard us there.
He did. He looked right down the barrel of the camera as you said that. By the end of this match, gents, we will know finally who will be crowned the world's best team, Papua New Guinea or the United States of America.
There's a lot riding on this game, Eamon, and I, for one, am really looking forward to the kickoff.
Well, I think they are as well. The Americans have yet to kick off successfully, but they've assured everyone before the game that they've finally mastered the act of kicking off.
Does that count as a kick-off?
It does. They were very successful. They'll be happy with that.
Okay, that was congratulations to America. See, a milestone in the first, under a second.
Straight over the top of the American forward pack there. Look, there's a white person playing for Papua New Guinea. I think he might have snuck into the team.
Moving right along. Quick play the ball now. Good inside ball. And yes, just completely trodden over the number 6 for the States there, who will be running back to Missouri, I think he's from.
Looking very calm, comfortable at the moment, PNG. Throwing the ball wide. Number 4's got it now. They look to throw it wide.
Great pass.
And the wing.
Yes, and he's fucked it up.
Committed defence from the United States, though.
I really think that was a great effort for him not to score there.
Well, that is looks like Corey McAlim, who was funded his way all the way to Australia by donating sperm.
Barita now plays the ball.
Oh, look at that. That's Joe Eichner hitting over the advantage line. That's his first attempt at going over the advantage line all tournament. Now, that is Mark Offerdale, who doesn't sound very American, but he's assured everyone he does have his green card. So we're coming back here for a breakdown, Chip, and before we do anything, we're just going to go for a sideline check with Brad Fittler.
A couple of games ago, I just started running the ball more, and if they weren't putting me down, I was basically just trying to offload. I think it's good in a way, but sometimes I think, if you're thinking about offloading, then your effectiveness as a runner becomes hampered, I think.
So the Americans now coming away from the 30-metre line.
Well, that's Luke Page again. He's just been looking for work all day, hasn't he? No one knows who he is. He's literally been looking for work today.
I think he is currently unemployed. You have some people in the crowd with some
just
substances for you to get into if you score.
The Americans have kicked out on the full unforced error there from the American team.
Well,
They'll be very unhappy with that.
Yeah, they do have a history of misguided bombs.
Well, to be fair to the Americans, normally they don't get any air with their kickoffs, so that was quite unexpected.
Jesus, it's actually a warm day there they're playing in.
Where are we playing here, fellas?
I believe this is in Randwick.
Oh, Randwick.
Oh, Randwick, okay.
Yeah, the conditions in Randwick can be very harsh.
Or it could be a penny. Who knows?
They were tossing up to play the game in Kabul.
Good pass that.
Great cutout ball, and I think Lowe is in. I don't know if it is Lowe.
I believe he's on the wing.
He could be Lowe.
I mean, we're 50-50. What's the sports bet on whether that's Lowe or not?
50-50, mate.
50-50. If you're bald and dumb, meet someone with more hair. Australia's greatest hair dating site.
I think what possible
Was
40-20.
40-20?
Well, the Americans won't be aware of that 40-20. That's the issue. They will get the feed, but they probably
won't
won't
fully understand it. That was a good thing to do.
Yeah, I don't know if they will know they have the feed of possession here. Could be a missed opportunity. They've played the ball.
They've played the ball. That's new. No, they've called that back. It's not a play the ball.
Yeah, and they've got it wrong.
Oh,
It's a
no,
tap.
it's a tap. Okay.
Can't blame the Americans for that.
Well, they've worked hard at the play the ball, and after some years of coaching, they've come to almost perfect the art form.
The Americans are over-exuberant. They can sense a possible dropout. Gone wide to the Honey Badger. He's doing a very nice deed by playing for the Americans in the Rugby League tournament.
Well, he sacrificed a lot to be there.
He has. He sacrificed his dignity. Possible spot in the Wallabies. Papua New Guinea are sort of repelling them with ease at this point, and that's
Great take.
probably a poor fifth tackle option. Wouldn't you agree, Ernie?
Yeah, I'm just checking out a sword in row 3 with the big tits.
If you sort of morphed into Brad Fittler.
This is really a different class of football now, isn't it, from the PNG team?
They're really forcing home the advantage. Almost tribal at this stage. They're closing on the Americans like they would a newborn baby in one of those tribes where cannibalism's still allowed. Here we go, just getting a bit of an impromptu neck massage.
Well, I believe that PNG LNG has sponsored the team with not just some cash towards the team, but also with free massages.
It's a big crowd here today, fellas, to watch the Papua New Guineans take on the Americans. Why have they turned up?
I think there's another game on afterwards, or I think Bruce Springsteen's playing.
I see.
There's something, yeah. So.
Yep. So they're just here by default.
How many passes are they going to take to score this try here?
I'm going to go with 11.
Okay, 1, 2.
So I was wrong.
2's almost 11. 1 plus 1 is 2.
Technically.
So
well, we can see here the Papua New Guineans are no longer really congratulating each other because they're getting so used to scoring. They're more just meeting and now chatting about the weekend. Kicking for his 19th goal and successful. He keeps kicking it out of the ground. Do you think that's been a bit of a dickhead? You know, by the time when it's 28-0, don't kick it out of the stadium.
Someone's got to go and get that, right?
There's only 4 footballs in New Guinea.
Is
They
that
don't need to
a
do
problem
that.
when you have a football field at the top of a mountain? How long is it going to take you to get that ball back?
Logistically, it's a nightmare. Americans getting pretty tired of this kickoff. They've gone for the not so short but not long.
Maybe they need like one of those bowling alley systems.
I don't know.
Conveyor belt. Bring the ball back.
That'd be handy. They should have had that flown in. Here we go. Americans on the attack now. They are close to the 20.
They seem a little bit one out.
They are. They've only really practiced the one out though, Chip. They haven't done anything else.
So they've started with the play the ball. They've moved on to the first pass.
Yep.
Ball going to Statham now, who knocks it on immediately.
Yeah, Pissweek Statham.
Pissweek Statham has let them down. And he knows it.
So he's got no rights.
Hands on heads, who's a fuckwit, Statham?
Even the budget won't pat him on the head.
That's interesting, isn't it? No one's really coming to console him there or say, good job anyway, buddy, or nothing like that. They've just left him.
Well, they don't like him, Chip.
They've left him
They made that pretty obvious pre-game.
Do you think in a one-pass team, the dummy half really becomes hated?
I'd say so because he does so much work and it becomes essentially ineffective.
Out on the full there by the Americans. Interesting play.
Do you think that was with intention, Chip?
Well, I think that might have been a callback to his rugby union days.
That is a shank and a half, isn't it? His margin of error was about 3 feet.
That was quality.
That kick before was quite unique. You won't see that in an NRL game, generally.
No, you won't.
That type of spin off the ball.
The really fucked spin that kind of says, I've never kicked before. Going left here, Papua New Guinea on the last. They kick through, and this is going to put the Americans under all sorts of pressure. Playing it safe there at 28-0. Interesting strategy.
Although they are into wind.
I really think this could be a 40-point wind.
Well, I think the Americans are hoping it's an 80-point wind. That was Corey McAlim playing it safe there at the back. Classic McAlim. Jason Statham looking very focused there under the sticks. Here they go. Well, it wasn't a short kickoff. It's actually quite big.
Well, they've got the wind, so... Yeah.
Okay. So the Americans have the 40-point wind and they're behind 28. Should we move this to 68-0?
They're in trouble.
Arithmetic is not their friend at this stage.
Oh. He's got a makeshift fullback.
The Badger's everywhere.
Oh, the Badger.
Oh. The Badger has made the 21 jersey his own this year.
He's walking with his back turned. He's got no chance.
Badger walking. Walking Badger.
The Badger's dead.
The number 8 lying on the ground there.
The
Badger completely missing the tackle.
Still
lying down.
And the Badger is still on the ground, folks.
They're running through the Badger now to score the number 15.
That's where the Badger would have been if he was standing. He's still horizontal.
Now, what does the Badger do when he's let down his whole country? You've let down your whole country. You're sitting down, playing with your hair, making sure that you've got the right perm when you should be holding up that defensive line.
Well, to be fair, fellas, the Badger was actually attempting a ploy there.
If you freeze the play here, the Badger's still on the ground.
That's 5 seconds
He's
down.
still on the
6,
ground.
7, 8,
He's still on the ground.
9, 10,
yeah, he's just
11.
watching the
Badger actually spectating
He's
a
just
little
watching
bit
it.
there.
I think he thought he was in the 4th row eating a hot dog.
Yeah.
Well, it has been, I wouldn't say an entertaining game so far, but certainly fascinating.
I think the highlights were the adverts.
I thought they were a very good mix of adverts between McDonald's and car racing. Has anyone watched this show called The Wall?
It's not as
What
bad
the
as you
fuck
think.
is that?
I thought it'd be the worst show I've ever seen. It's not as bad as you think.
What is
I
it?
watched one, mate. I don't know if I can agree with you.
That's not great.
What's with the fucking, half the episode is them talking about their families?
Yeah, I know. Yeah. It's like, I get it, cunt. Everyone's got a story.
Yeah, no one gives a fuck.
I
No
know.
one cares.
Ernie, we've got some highlight packages happening here on 7 Mate.
Oh, Sigiyaro streaming away.
Sikiaro. Now, we have had a late development here from an irate caller who wanted to let us know that that's not Sigiaro playing in the number 9, and she's threatening to sue us for being racists.
I know where you live, Darls.
He looks very much like Sigiaro, though, to be fair to
He
us.
does
This
look very
is
much
not a
like
black
Sigiaro.
thing at all.
No, he's pretty much got the same eyes,
Same eyes.
same hair,
He's got very similar zoning.
same physique,
Yeah.
similar sort of player. High
Yeah.
energy.
Sort of has no impact on the game, a bit like Sigiaro would. Do you think Mark Geyer wears glasses to appear more intellectual than he
Yes.
really is?
Indeed. Yeah.
When did he start doing that?
Yeah, like, you don't need him, Mark. Look how he's nodding his head, pretending like he knows what he's talking about.
He's not keeping up. Just on this game here, Chip. Now we've got some very festive dancing going on here. It looks like an Elvis impression from a native Papua New Guinean. What do you make of that?
Well, I think that's actually the Prince / Elvis dance routine, and I think what they've done there is try to double up on their icons, mix the two icons into one. You can
Like
see
a
here,
walking
there we
mixed
had
metaphor.
David Bowie with Bob Marley
Yeah.
mix, and
I had no idea they had such an obsession with sort of American pop culture. He's not having
Kick
a
through
Here
here
we go.
on
The
the
Americans
inside.
kick through, and it's
PNG
easily
length of the
diffused.
field try.
Coming up. So even when the Americans make a nice play, it ends up in a try for the Papua New Guineans, and that looks like Heath Lestrange in the background having a biff. It did. That's a try to start off the second half nicely for PNG, and they'd like that because they're keeping up now with the clock very well.
More importantly, we find that the Americans have restarted hostilities.
They have. It's not like them to move into a third world country and be aggressive. So this is new territory for the Americans.
Honey Badger now trying to calm things
Well,
down.
the Honey Badger's not happy about this. He missed this.
The Badger's back on.
The Badger's missed all the action, and he's trying to get involved as much as he can after the fact.
Beautiful kick there on the wrong foot.
There's the fullback for PNG. Nice play by the Americans,
And
forcing
former-
their first dropout and therefore being by default their most exciting period in the tournament.
The former NSYNC member almost had his first try of the tournament there.
I think this is actually a PB in assists for repeat sets. The most flattering statistic the Americans have currently.
There are not many statistics flattering the team at the moment, Chip, but they'll be very happy with that, the Americans. They've been working on this dropout formation as well, although there's no one in the middle, so they have evidently fucked up.
Do you think that's where PNG will go?
Yes.
Oh my God, no one's there. Oh, the Badger. Oh, he gets crunched.
Is that guy putting a Powerade on his balls? What's going on there?
Well, I think sometimes you'll find that you really need to look after your future children.
And hydrate them to the maximum.
Also noticing the LNG sponsorship for the Papua New Guinean team, we can see that they are a resource-rich nation, so the Americans may actually be trying to lose this game to win some favour with exporting liquid natural gas.
They may well be doing that. They are an oil-rich nation in themselves, Chip, and unfortunately it looks as though the Americans on the first tackle have run out. Got an ad here, I'm not sure what it's for, but someone seems to be dressed up as a giant rabbit.
Why is someone breathing into a brown paper bag on this ad?
Well, he's hyperventilating, mate. I think it's because he's missing out on all the specials.
On the deal.
Yep. Do you think at this stage the American government might be watching this game and think, well, we might just steal a couple of mines or two just to make up for this game? Maybe steal some of their national assets?
Well, I think what it comes down to is the Americans have long secured Papua New Guinea's natural resources. The PNG have had no say in any kind of political discourse or interaction of any merit. Even in the East Asia Summit, I think you'll remember that Papua New Guineans are actually asked to cater the event,
Yeah, that
provide
was a
waiters,
bit rough, wasn't it?
which was hard. I mean, I can understand their dark skin clashing with the ironed white shirts that they were forced to wear, but I do also think that the imperialistic culture of the West has really seen an end here at 56-0.
Oh no, and an intercept try here.
80-metre try
And
here for Papua New Guinea.
We can see the number 2 here. He's done a hamstring. Which is the best hamstring
Under no
injury
pressure,
I've ever
under
seen.
no contact, the American fullback has fallen over.
The sad thing about that, Chip, is that he was never going to get there.
And we've got trainers on the field already.
Chip, do you think the trainers who have come on to assist the winger for the Americans should probably take his spot in the team?
Well, I think at this stage it can't hurt.
Well, I have to say, I admire the heart of Ryan Burrows, chasing in vain there to the point of a leg muscle tear at 62-0. 20 seconds to go, Chip. What can the Americans do here?
Pretty much fuck all. They're not going to score any points. They've got 10 seconds left. The humiliation is almost over.
I think they should put a mousetrap on.
Well, look, I think the Papua New Guineans are clearly very happy to have won the game. They've already begun the ceremonial process of blood sacrifice of the losing American team.